Hello and welcome to this online session in the subject of signals and systems. Till now in the subject we have discussed about signals. We introduced ourselves to different types of signals, that is signal classification. We have also discussed some basic commonly used signals like impulse, step, ramp, etc. Further, we also discussed different types of signal operations. In this part of online series, we would try to discuss on systems. We are aware, we have discussed this when we introduced the subject, that system is basically collection of elements which are arranged appropriately so as to serve the desired purpose. System basically takes some input and convert or transform those input into desired output. Inputs are generally called excitations and output is generally called response. Thus, if we think of a system, then system basically manipulates signal, that is, it manipulates input signal, it do some operation on the input signal and generates output signal which is as per what we desire. System examples that we discussed in our earlier sessions were, say for example, a PA system, a public announcement or public addressing system. What is the purpose of this system? The purpose of this system is to increase the level of sound so that it can reach to a farther distance as well as a larger mass. What does this system consist of? Then this system consists of different elements like a mic, which basically converts an acoustic signal into an electric signal. Then we have mixers and preamplifiers, then we have power amplifier and a speaker. Speaker again converts an electric signal back into an acoustic signal, but now of a larger magnitude or a stronger acoustic signal. So, collection of different elements, that is mic, mixer, preamplifier, power amplifier, speaker, etc. does the desired or serves the desired purpose of increasing the loudness of the sound. Another example that we took as a part of system in our earlier lectures was of ECG, electrocardiogram. What does this system, what is the purpose of this system? The purpose of this system is to represent the activity of heart. And how this is done? This is done by measuring the biopotential generated because of heart activity using an appropriate sensor. And then signal conditioning those, means doing signal conditioning of those signals captured by the sensor using devices like amplifiers, filters, converting the signal from analog into digital using A to D converters, processing those signals on a processor, and ultimately displaying those signals on a display or printing it on a printer. So, collection of all these elements serves the desired purpose of getting an idea about the activity of heart. So, again if we restate, then what is a system? System is basically collection of elements which are appropriately arranged so that it serves our desired purpose. Now if we think of representing a system, then a system can be mathematically modeled as a function. What basically is a function? Function is basically a relation between two quantities or more than two quantities, where it helps you to map one quantity into another quantity. We understood that system basically takes inputs and transforms them or converts them into output as per our design. So, system can be mathematically modeled as a function that represents mapping of inputs into outputs. That is, it can be represented mathematically as some equation where in that equation, if you substitute the value of inputs, it would give you what would be the value of output. Yes? So, system can be mathematically modeled as a function. Say for example, if I have input to the system as x, I have output to the system as y, then system can be represented by some function capital T, where capital T defines the relation between y and x. That is, output y can be expressed as T of x, that is function of x. In general mathematics, we use the notation of f of x for function. Here I have made use of the term capital T instead of small alphabet f. So y as a function of x is something that describes my system. It is not necessary that system would always have single input and single output. System can have more than one input, and system can also have more than one output. In such case, each output would be represented as a function of inputs. That is, say yi, where I varies from 1 to m, which represents the number of outputs that I have. So each output yi is represented as a function of all the inputs x1 to xn. So in general, the point to understand is that system mathematically can be represented as a function where output is represented as a function of input. Yes? Now, if in such system the inputs and outputs are continuous time signals, x is an input signal, y is an output signal. If x and y are continuous time signals, then such systems are called continuous time systems. Very simple to understand. Similarly, if the input x and output y are discrete time signals, that is x of n and y of n, then we would call such systems to be discrete time systems. Yes? Whether we have a discrete time system or a continuous time system, both such systems can be represented by a mathematical model. There are different popular mathematical models which are used to represent a system. Few of the mathematical models which are used, or few of the mathematical approaches that are used to represent a system are, say for example, differential equations for continuous time systems, difference equation for discrete time systems. We also have the concept of system modeling in terms of transfer function, which you might have which you might have studied as a part of your control system or control theory, where we are trying to represent a system by means of a transfer function. Similar to transfer function, we also have something which we call it as impulse response, state space representation. All these are different techniques or methods to mathematically represent a system. We would study few of them in this subject. However, before going in detail about system and system representation, let us try to take few examples of a continuous time and a discrete time system, and let us try to learn what do we mean by mathematical modeling of a system, or how the system is represented mathematically. Let us start with an example of continuous time system where we would try to represent a system using differential equation. Let us take a very popular circuit, which is an RC network, which basically works as a low pass filter, having input Vin of t and output V0 of t. So say this is a physical system which is having a resistor, a capacitor, some voltages are given as input, and V0, that is the output voltage, is measured across a capacitor. So in this system, if I try to represent it in our standard notation, then x of t, which is my input, is equal to Vin of t, y of t, which is my output, is represented as V0 of t. Now if we want to represent this system by a mathematical model or in terms of an equation, we may use some standard laws or theorems what we know. Say for example, by applying Kirchhoff's voltage law, I can represent this circuit in terms of an equation as Vin of t, that is my input voltage, is equal to R into It plus 1 by C integration of It dt, where It is my loop current. Now if we try to work with this equation, then we know that 1 by C integration It dt is nothing but the voltage across the capacitor, and it is same as V0 of t. Then in this case, I can also write I of t. If I differentiate this equation on both sides, what I would get would be 1 by C It is equal to dV0t by dt, because differentiation and integration would cancel one another. So what would be left here would be 1 by C It is equal to dV0t by dt, which can be expressed as I of t is equal to C dV0t by dt. We can substitute the value of this current in the above equation, and this would give us Vin of t is equal to Rc dV0t by dt plus V0t. Now this is the expression that we have, which is purely in terms of input and output. That is, we have eliminated or we have removed the intermediate variable of current which was present in this expression. So this expression is basically the expression which purely relates input and output. I can rearrange the terms so as to bring it in some standard form. This all of you would understand that this basically is a standard form of a first order differential equation, right? If required, if we want to have an explicit relation between output voltage and input voltage, then we know that we can actually solve this differential equation, and it would give us the equation of output in terms of input. We know that this equation falls something like V0t is equal to Vn 1 minus e raised to power 1 by Rc, something similar to that. However, our interest here is not to solve this differential equation, but to understand that a physical system can be represented in terms of a differential equation. If I try to have a general picture of it, then we know that V0t is my output, and output is generally represented as Yt. Vin is my input, input is generally represented as Xt. The terms like 1 upon Rc or Rc are constants, and they can be represented by some terms like A0, A1, B0 and so on. Right? So the point to understand here is that a system, which in this case is a continuous time system, is represented by a differential equation. This differential equation is basically a first order differential equation. Why? Because the highest derivative which is present in the equation is of the order of 1, that is d by dt. You may also have a zero order system. Say for example an amplifier, where the output is simply the scaled version of input, that is y of t is some constant into x of t. In that case you would not have this differential term. On the other case, you may also have systems which can be a second order system. Say for example, if I take an example of RLC circuit, a series RLC circuit, then it would basically be an example of a second order system. Yes? So the point to understand is that in general, the system can be represented by a differential equations, and differential equations can be of different orders depending upon the nature of the system. However, the important point is that systems can be represented by differential equations, and in doing this we use some standard laws, theories that we know depending upon the domain in which the system is. As we have discussed an example of system representation for continuous time systems, let us also take an example of a discrete time system representation. Let us take an example of a system which is popularly known as accumulator. What is an accumulator? Accumulator is a system whose output, that is y of n, at any given instance of time is equal to sum of present as well as all previous inputs which has been given to the system till now. So what does an accumulator does? The word accumulator, the word accumulate means to add. This is analogous to something what we call an integrator in continuous time. What does integration do? It basically accumulates. So in discrete time, something which is analogous to integration is accumulation. So accumulator is basically a system which adds all the inputs which has been given to the system till now. Yes. So before we move on to the mathematical model, let us try to understand in terms of difference equation. Let us try to understand what we mean by present, previous, or future. This is a general terminology which one would have to understand. In general, when I say y of n or x of n, then y of n or x of n basically represents the present instance, or it is considered as a present instance. So, in general, n represents something which is present. Then in this case, anything which is n minus k, it represents past. Similarly, anything which is n plus k would represent future. That is, say for example, if n is equal to 1, then it means that I am talking about input and output at, say, some time which is represented by n equal to 1. Yes? Then what would be my previous instances? Then sample at n equal to 0, sample at n equal to -1, sample at n equal to -2, sample at n equal to -3, all these are past values. Similarly, sample at n equal to 2, n equal to 3, n equal to 4, they are all future instances. So in general, in our representation, n would always be considered as a present instance. N minus k thus represents past instance, and n plus k represents future instance, where k is basically an positive integer. Okay. Now, having understood this, if I want to represent output y of n of an accumulator, then how can I represent it? Then as per the definition, the output at a given time is sum of present and all previous inputs. So y of n, it means that my present output is equal to sum of addition of my present input, which would be x of n, because n is the present instance. Now if n is the present instance, what was the input before this? Exactly before this, it means that previous to this, it would be x of n minus 1. What had been input previous to that? It would be x of n minus 2. What had been input previous to this? Then it would be x of n minus 3 and so on. What would be the first input that would have occurred to the system, or that would have appeared in the system? Then the first input would be maybe the input which would have occurred at minus infinity. So y of n is basically summation of x of n plus x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus 2 up to x of minus infinity. Okay? If I want to show this, because this is a summation, I can show this in a concise form, in a simple form, using the symbol of addition, summation. So y of n is basically summation k from minus infinity to n x of k. So if I substitute k equal to minus infinity, I would get this term. If I substitute k equal to n, I would get this term. And for different values in between minus infinity and n, I would get the in between terms. So if we understand, this basically represents accumulator. This is a mathematical model of a system that we understand as an accumulator. And this equation is what we understand as a difference equation. There can also be an alternative way of representing the same system in terms of difference equation itself. Let us try to see this. Now, as y of n is equal to x of n plus x of n minus 1 and so on, if I try to ask what would be the value of output at a previous instance, that is at n minus 1, then if I am trying to find the output at the previous instance, then I would have to take what was the input at previous instance and all other inputs which has occurred before that. So y of n minus 1 would be equal to x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus 2 plus x of n minus 3 up to x of minus infinity. So y of n minus 1 can be represented as k from minus infinity to n minus 1 x of k. Now why am I representing this is because if you see this equation, then in this equation, if you remove this first term, or if you don't consider this first term, all the terms after this are basically this. That is, all the terms from x of n minus 1 to x of n minus 2 up to x of minus infinity is basically represented by y of n minus 1. That is, y of n, which is this expression, can be represented as x of n plus k from minus infinity to n minus 1 x of k. Why? Because here we have gone from minus infinity to n. If I don't go up to n, but I stop myself at the previous instance, that is n minus 1, then I would have to add x of n additionally. And now we know that this summation is basically y of n minus 1. So I can also represent it y of n as x of n plus y of n minus 1. Understand the basic difference between this expression what we have here, this expression what we have here. Both these expressions are called difference equation. Difference equation. This is analogous to differential equation in continuous time. This is called difference equation. And how these two are different? Here, output is represented solely as a summation of, or as a function of, present input and previous inputs. Whereas, here output is represented in terms of the present input and the previous output. What is y of n minus 1? If I say y of n is present instance, then y of n minus 1 is the previous output. If y of n is the present output, then y of n minus 1 is the previous output. So in this expression, y of n, that is the present value of the output, is represented as sum of present input and past output. Whereas here y of n is represented in terms of present input and past inputs rather than output. Representing the system like this reduces the kind of addition that we see here. This is basically an infinite summation, whereas this is a finite summation. You are adding only two terms. Yes? So maybe from the point of view of resources, this would be more simpler to implement rather than this. Okay? So in general, what is a difference equation? Difference equation is analogous to differential equation in continuous time domain. However, we cannot use differential equation in discrete time because differentiation or integration is defined only for continuous functions. So for discrete time systems, we use something what we call it as difference equation. And difference equation of a system basically represents present output of the system in terms of present value of input and present or future values of input or output. Yes, we have seen here we are representing output only in terms of present and past values of input. Here we are representing output in terms of present values of input and past value of output. So we may depend on the present and the past values of input as well as output. Here you would also note that I have mentioned that output is also represented in terms of future values of input or output. Yes, this seems at a first instance something little disagreeable, and you are correct in that sense, that any real-time system cannot depend upon future values of input and output because the future value has still not occurred. Yes, this is true, but this is true for real-time systems or real-time realizable systems. If I am working on an offline system or if I have a data available with me a prior, right? If the complete data set which I am supposed to work on is available with me, say for example a complete signal is stored, is available, right? Then I may have or I may use the future value. But yes, the systems which basically depends upon the future values are not realizable in real time, right? But in general, when we are defining difference equation, we should take note of every possible aspect, and hence we have written past or future values of input as well as output. Fine. With this, we conclude this session where we have introduced system representation, and we have taken examples wherein a continuous time system is represented using a differential equation and a discrete time system is represented using a difference equation. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you very much.